Alright, lesson 3, engine exhaust. Describe type of the fundamental engine exhaust system condition given the information, location, purpose, construction, inspection, engine exhaust. Your reference would be TM9 8000. Alright, learning one event. Describe the components and construction, inspection, exhaust system, introduction, internal combustion engine with as though a mechanical device that breathes like a person or animal with the intake stroke. The engine cylinder inhales, pulling in the fresh full air mixture on its exhaust stroke with the cylinder exhaust and pushing the wasted gases out. And in effect, limiting the inhaling, the exhaling, and the process. Similarly, with the limits of the power output, with the lessons will be covered the exhaust system with the engine system, exhaling system. The exhaust system are relatively simple, the part of the vehicle, however, the very important part of the vehicle maintenance above all leaks and must be properly repaired. Warning: exhaust gases contain poisonous carbon monoxides. As you know, the exhaust gases contain carbon monoxide, which is deadly poison gas. Carbon monoxide is especially dangerous because of the colorless or odorless driver and passenger of the vehicle that inhale fatal dose of the carbon monoxide without knowing that death can result with improperly repaired the defective exhaust system. Also, exhaust gas leaving the engine is very hot with a corrosive substance with the run over the flexible hoses, insulation wiring, and the paint of the vehicle as well with the start of the fire. In addition, with exhaust gas, the love of the engine leaves the engine with a high pressure for the grade for the load over the undesirable noise. Exhaust system must therefore direct for the exhaust away from the operator with the passenger compartment away from the electrical wiring. Other material of the exhaust can damage the system. Must include the means of muffling the noise and escaping gas. Exhaust system. The typical exhaust system consists of the exhaust manifold, exhaust pipe, muffler, tailpipe, clamps. Often the exhaust and tailpipe are made with the several pieces of the tailpipe of the various has several sections. Exhaust manifold collect with the burn gas expressed with the engine cylinder directs them into the exhaust pipe. Manifolds may be made with a gas iron assembled with a steel tubing using the flanges are made with a manifold connects to the engine with exhaust pipe. The mating surfaces of the flanges machined and the smooth finishes airtight to seal with against the engine exhaust pipe prevent the exhaust of the gases leaking. Sometimes metal contact provides seal, but must be most of the time asbestos gases are used not based on brass is used to secure the manifold flanges, but brass does not rust. Extreme heat causes steel nuts and rust very rapidly, but that they are hard to remove. Alright, some military wheeled vehicles use exhaust manifolds with water jacket. The liquid containing the cooling of the engine passes through the exhaust manifold of the water jacket before returning to the radiator. This aid reduces the temperature of the exhaust gas, reduces the amount of the noise, reduces the damage of the exhaust causes with the exhaust system or other nearby parts. Exhaust passage inside of the manifold must be fairly smooth and free of any of the friction with slow with the flow of the exhaust gas. Exhaust pipe. The exhaust pipe that passes away with the exhaust gas is the flow of the manifold to the muffler with a heavy steel using flange of the both ends attached to the muffler diameter. Exhaust pipe is usually determined by the size of the engine. One small one-cylinder, one engine pipe, no larger than the household water pipe. The pipe is to do the job. Large engine may require the exhaust pipe of the 3 inch or more in diameter to carry out a large amount of the exhaust gas. Length of the exhaust pipe is determined by the design of the vehicle. If the engine is in front of the vehicle, the muffler is mounted at the rear of the pipe with the V long, while the other long pipes will be made in 2 sections. Provide much of the road clearance of the possible pipe at the form of the old shape with the odd shape of the fitted up the under of the vehicle without touching the other component of the pipes or support of the vehicle frame with a hanger. Center portion of the hanger can be made with a flexible material to absorb vibration. Alright, muffler. The purpose of the muffler is to muffle the exhaust noise of the muffler. A perfect muffler would silence all the noise made with the exhaust pipe that will eliminate all pressure. However, it is not practical to make with a muffler so perfect that all mufflers come and use the back pressure do not silence all of the noise. There are 2 basic mufflers designed straight through baffle, straight through the top of the pipe, extending straight through the muffler with the chamber of the surrounding it. This is drilled in all around a pipe of the metal shape with the glass wool is packed within the chamber of the surrounding through the pipe. On a baffle type muffler, the exhaust must have to travel through the hole with several baffles, with 4 examples through the bump muffler outlet. Often some holes that are drilled with the bottom of the muffler condense water with the drain of the muffler are maced on sheet metal with the crimson welded together at the seams. They can be assembled. The muffler reduces most of the noise of the cooling of the exhaust gas to reduce the pressure chamber between the baffle of the baffle type muffler, produce the deadening effect with the smoothing out of the surge of the gas flows to the cylinder. Straight through the muffler will cause very little back pressure. Does not need a good job muffling with the noise. The BAF muffler causes the back pressure to do its better job of the muffling the noise. Tailpipe with the carry of the exhaust gas of the muffler out of to the point where it's safely ejected and is made with a seal tube that made with a little smaller diameter than the exhaust pipe. Smaller pipe that can be used with the muffler that has been cooled with a greater deal, causing them to contract. The pipe may be secured with the muffler and the flame slipped together to ensure the pipe stays in the proper position for the body of the flame of the vehicle. Hangers are used. Some trucks have tailpipes run up beside the vehicle cab. However, for deep water forging, a special type of the pipe is usually required that the extension is connected with the tailpipe with the extent of the along this vehicle. Body pipes should either be carried curved outward or in the weather cap installed. Other rainwater enter the pipe, and then the weather may be flapper valve closing by a spring of the cap closed with the weight of the valve that open by the exhaust pressure. Single or dual exhaust systems. Vehicles with a V-type engine have a single or dual exhaust system. When the dual system is used, each of these bank cylinders is a separate exhaust system and its own manifold has its own. In a dual system, each bank cylinder is used in a separate exhaust system, which is its own manifold and exhaust pipe and muffler tailpipe. Your dual exhaust permits the exhaust gas to go through the gas to travel straight over the path of the view of the rear of the vehicle. Therefore, the dual exhaust system causes less back pressure for the single end with the desire for the best of the engine performance. However, the additional parts that make the dual exhaust system more expensive than the single exhaust system. If the single exhaust system uses the V-type of the engine for the exhaust the gases from the two banks of the cylinder must be brought together at the same point. On some engines of the crossover pipe with the seal pipe with the connecting for the two exhaust manifolds, the exhaust gases for both of the cylinder banks may leave through the exhaust pipe connected with the exhaust manifold. Another method is bringing together exhaust pipe with the right and left cylinder banks, forming a Y connection. Your turbocharger, when you have the mounted in the exhaust system, the turbine housing is generally connected directly to the outlet of the exhaust manifold, and all exhaust gases leaving the manifold pass through the turbine housing to drive the turbocharger. To drive the turbocharger, especially with the exhaust elbow to the exhaust pipe, driving turbocharger slow down the exhaust gases somewhat. Also, slowly down the exhaust gases produced for the engine power's output. The turbocharger, however, the power loss during the housing. During slowing of the exhaust gas is made of the increased air pressure. Your special bypasses. Water tankers of 2.5 tons have a special bypass to their exhaust system. The bypass is used with the cold weather and directly with a hot gas chamber under the water tank to keep the water from freezing. Bypass control valve is mounted with the exhaust system rear exhaust pipe and is fronted with the muffler. Control valve is directed with exhaust gases into the muffler other chamber under the water tank with the control lever operating the bypass control lever valve is located in the vehicle cab. Inspection. Inspection proceed with the exhaust system over the bow of some of the regardless of the type of the vehicle they're working on. To inspect the exhaust system depends mostly on the very sensitive of the sight, hearing, and feel. Start at either end of the exhaust system, walk toward the opposite end, inspect the leaks and illusion for the missing defect with improperly positioned components. Above all, do not operate the vehicle engine for more than a minute or two, unless it's located with a well-ventilated area. Otherwise, you may become the victim of carbon monoxide poisoning. Also, watch out you do not burn yourself on any hot exhaust systems. Exhaust gases leak for the most serious problems for the most sure of the flame of the make of the note of all of them, regardless of how small they are. Bad leaks make a lot of noise, so you can easily locate the general area of coming from. Small leaks can be heard with the monetary plug with the tailpipe outlet with the cover of the leak. It makes a making a hissing noise due to the back pressure building up of the exhaust system. After you find the general area of the hole near the suspected leak, but if you can feel exhaust gases striking your hand, be careful you do not get on your hand close to the burn. Inspection exhaust manifold for the tightness of the cracks. Loosely covered with the black carbon deposit indicate with the leak with all the defectors should be cut. Must be secure, properly positioned to protect the nearby parts from the heat. When inspecting the exhaust pipe of the muffler, the tailpipe of the bay, in particular, with the intention for the damage for the cover of any rust or any other corrosion that may cover the least part. So going bad open from the muffler, make it look good for outside, must be rusted away from the inside. Bump the muffler several times with your hand. If the rails on the inside of the baffles are rusted loose, and muffler needs to be replaced. Alright, all parts must be held and secured in the proper position. Hangers allowing a level with the bump of the rattle again for the vehicle made of body frame of the powertrain. This must be ample space between all the hot exhaust and parts items with electrical wiring, braking, and housing. Hoses and fuel lines with even width so the touching of the insulation wiring can be burned away in the fuel boiling oil line. Alright, any large dents in the muffler exhaust pipe with the tail pipe with the flow down the flow of the exhausting gas to reduce the engine power, and muffler of the fuel carbon deposits will also restrict the gas. You can see that this time that the restrictions respectively connect with the vacuum pressure gas of an intake manifold. If the exhaust system is restricted, manifold vacuum will need to be normal, but the engine first started will drop rapidly. Repair the exhaust system almost always limited to the replacement parts. Never attempt to remove the parts while they are still hot. And then you get your practice exercise, and this page is intentionally left blank in your answers to the practice. Alright, this was part of the Subcourse 0D1004 Edition 6 U.S. Army Ordnance Center and School Wheeled Vehicles Fuel and Exhaust Systems. Okay?